I still remember the exact way she said it, like it wasn't even an insult, just a casual fact she assumed I'd accept. We were standing in her apartment hallway while she fixed her lipstick in the mirror near the door, getting ready for a rooftop dinner with her old circle, and I was holding her purse because she said her hands were shaking from her nails drying too slowly. Then she glanced at her phone, smirked, and said, "My ex thinks you're basic," without even looking at me, like I was supposed to laugh along or not take it seriously, but I didn't. I just handed her purse back and said nothing. And in that silence something shifted in me, not loudly, not dramatically, but permanently, because it wasn't just what she said, it was how naturally she said it, like her ex still had a place in her head that I didn't, like I was the safe option but not the meaningful one, and she kissed my cheek quickly before leaving, saying, "Don't wait up," like I was background noise to her night, and I smiled but it wasn't real, and when the door closed I sat down and kept replaying everything I had been ignoring. 4 months. Her phone turned face down, deleted messages, sudden laughter she didn't share, the way she'd come home late smelling like cologne that wasn't mine. All small things that didn't prove anything alone but together started forming a picture I didn't want to see. And then around 11:40 p.m. I got a message from an unknown number saying, "Ask her who she was with at Skyline Rooftop." And my stomach tightened because that was exactly where she said she'd be. So I opened a ride app and without thinking I went there, standing across the street watching the rooftop glow with music and laughter spilling out into the night, and there she was, Mira. Standing too close to him, Adrian, her ex, the same name I had seen once or twice before in harmless messages she claimed meant nothing. But now I saw the way she laughed at something he said, the way she touched his arm lightly like it was natural, like I wasn't even a thought in that moment. And I didn't go inside, I just stood there watching. Because I wanted to understand what I had been refusing to accept, and then I saw it, the small lean-in, the closeness, the comfort that didn't belong to me, and something inside me didn't break, it settled, like a decision being made quietly. So I turned and walked away without confrontation, without drama, because I already knew where this was going. And the next morning she came home at 9:17 a.m. holding her heels, acting like everything was normal, smiling softly as she said, "You're up early." And I nodded and said I didn't sleep well, and she kissed my forehead like nothing had happened. And I let her because I wanted to see how far she would go while thinking I didn't know, and over the next days I stopped reacting, stopped questioning, just listened, watched, remembered, while she casually mentioned Adrian as just an old friend, stayed out late saying she was with friends, and I responded with calm indifference, building my understanding quietly instead of confronting her, until one day I came home early and saw her phone charging on the table and a message preview lit up. "Last night was a mistake? Or just bad timing?" From Adrian. And I didn't touch the phone because I didn't need more proof, I already had it, and when she came out of the shower and saw me, she froze for a second, sensing something was different, and I said calmly, "We need to talk." And she sat down cautiously asking what about, and I told her I saw her at Skyline, and she paused but didn't deny immediately, just said, "Oh that," like it was insignificant, like I was overreacting, and I asked what it was then if not what. It looked like, and she leaned back saying it was complicated, and that word, complicated, was the final confirmation of everything I needed, because people use it when they want to keep options open, not close doors. And I told her quietly that I wasn't competing with her past or being someone she returned to when it suited her, and she said it wasn't fair, but I realized fairness wasn't the issue anymore, truth was. So I stood up, went to the bedroom, packed my bag while she followed asking if I was serious, and I didn't argue. I just kept packing until I finally told her I heard what she said about her ex thinking I was basic, and her face changed slightly because she remembered. And I said I wasn't angry about the insult, I was done with being someone she didn't fully choose, and I left that evening without yelling, without a scene. Just a quiet exit that ended what words couldn't fix. And weeks later I heard they didn't last either. Because he thought she was emotionally unavailable and she thought he wasn't serious. Which was almost ironic considering I had been the stable point she treated as optional. And months later she texted me saying, "I messed up." But I didn't reply, not out of bitterness but clarity. Because some apologies are just echoes of decisions already made. And sitting alone later I realized something important. That silence isn't weakness. Sometimes it's the clearest form of self-respect. Because the moment I stopped reacting, I started seeing everything for what it really was, and I finally understood that being someone's safe choice means nothing if you're not their chosen one, and I walked away not to punish her, but to stop punishing myself by staying in a place where I was never fully seen, and in the end what hurt most wasn't her words or her actions, it was realizing I had been waiting to be valued in a place where I was only ever temporary, and that realization didn't break me, it freed me, because some endings don't destroy you. They finally return you to yourself.